Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. XRP may be on track for $11.50 to $42 range after revisiting pivotal white circle. Okay guys, let's get into it. Okay, so we're at a point now where I know a lot of people are frustrated. We're going through a consolidation period, ranging. I know how frustrating it is, don't get me wrong, I get it. And I thought I'd just have this conversation because from what I see from a lot of analysts, which I'm hoping is correct, look, I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm not a chart analyst, so I don't know what's going to happen. But if I go by the market sentiment and what I see a lot of analysts saying, they're literally saying that we're coming to the end of this now. They're saying like the range is pretty much done. It's pretty much complete. We are literally just now getting ready for this final blow off top. That's what people are saying. I've got more reason to believe that than that the ball runs over, because if we look at Bitcoin, it's, you know, like, to me, that's not bearish territory right now. So that would indicate to me that basically Bitcoin has still got one last push in itself to see where it gets to. So one last real all-time high bridge to see how high it's going to get. And then it should be that, you know, you have your alt season rally because, you know, the profits are taken from Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price falls and the Bitcoin dominance drops because they're then cycling the money into other cryptos. That's how it all works. So it seems that we're in that moment. That's what it would appear to be. So thinking about that with that in mind, $11.50 to $42. I mean, geez. Quite a big range, because it could literally go to like, you know, $15, $20, $30. So, you know, you've got quite a big margin here in terms of where it could get between in terms of those two numbers. But listen, guys, I'll be honest with you. If we even get $11.50, I'll be happy. You know, like I've tried to keep my hopes for this cycle to be like conservative, so that if it goes higher than that, I'm just even happier than what I would have originally been. You know, so I'll be honest with you, for me, this has just been my hopes, not to say that this is what's going to happen, but my hopes has been just $10. You know, if we can just get $10, I'd be happy with that. So anything above that, I'm just ecstatic. You know, I'll be completely, you know, over the moon with that, no pun intended. But what do you guys think? You know, $42, look, I'm going to be honest with you, for me, you're getting into quite a high amount there. But I will say this, look, you know, understand when I'm giving you my, you know, thoughts on this is just my opinion, you know, and don't get me wrong, I do have like, you know, data and stuff to back up why I think this, but it is still my opinion, you know, like, is it possible that it could hit $42? It is. It's quite a lot though, you know, it's quite a feat to pull that off, but it can happen. I would love to be wrong. Do you know what I mean? I would love for it to hit $42. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm an XRP holder, so the higher it goes, the better it is for me. Like, I want this to happen. So I hope it does get to $42. I hope it gets higher, you know, like I hope it can get as high as we can possibly get it for the cycle. But as I say, like, I can admit that when I say $10, I am being conservative there. So even though I do say, you know, $10, that's not to say that I think that's the highest it can go. I do think it can go higher than $10, to be honest with you, but it's just me trying to, you know, manage my expectations and trying to make sure that I take some profit, right? Because, you know, in the previous bull run, like, don't get me wrong, I did make profit, but like, it's one of those that when I look back now, I could have made way more. You know, I look back and I think of like some of the mistakes I made, which overall I made money. So I can't be too hard on myself because I actually made profit. So that's the main thing, and good profit too. But, like this time it's like, no, like I've learned from that and I'm really gonna make this count. You know, this is the one I've been preparing for. And I think I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready. And I'm sure you guys are like that now as well. Like, you're ready for this stuff to just get moving. So, you know, from what I hear a lot of people saying, like July into August, like the next coming months, they reckon stuff can really start to take off. The one thing I will say is, like, you know, the longer this stuff stays down, normally they say the bigger it's going to go, right? The longer it's suppressed for, the bigger and higher it's going to go. So this could all be a positive in the end, you know, because it might be frustrating right now while you're living through this. But when you see where XRP gets to, you might be like, I'm so glad that happened, right? Because it's frustrating at the time until you're in it. And then once you actually see like the actual profit coming to fruition, you're like, okay, that was worth the wait. Do you know what I mean? That was worth every bit of, anxiousness you had, worry, doubt, etc. Like, you look at your bank account after, you're like, wow, like incredible. So, the thing for me with this stuff is, I'm like you guys, like I'm an investor, I'm ready to make profit here, do you know what I mean? Like I'm just like you guys, like I want this to happen now, but I'm just very aware that it doesn't happen when you want it to happen. And this is what I keep telling you guys, like the reason why I'm so cool about this and I don't keep like, throwing like a rage fit or anything is because like I'm just very aware that this doesn't happen on my time. It doesn't happen because I'm annoyed or because I want it to happen. It happens when it happens. So the best thing I can do is just be prepared for when that day comes. So that's what I do. Like I want it to come tomorrow. That would be great. But that's not going to happen just because that's what I want, right? So I just be as prepared as I can be. One thing I will say about this bull run, it's been a very odd bull run. It really has. So like, when I think back to the prior bull run in 2021, like, man, like, everything was up. Like, it's kind of strange with this one because I've got certain cryptos, like, I'll give you an example. AVAX, right? When I look back at what the price was during the last bull run and for how consistent it remained high, like, AVAX is nowhere near its all-time high. It's nowhere near even just like, what its price was at when it was in a good momentum shift. Like, it's still really low. And so, I just like, I guess maybe this bull run might be just a thing where everything just has the alt season rally, it all just takes off during the alt season rally. But when I was in the previous bull run, like all cryptos was up. It wasn't just set ones. It was like all cryptos was up ridiculously high. Now, I don't know how long alt season is going to last because to be honest with you, going on past performance, normally the bull run's done by now. The bull run normally ends around April, May. So in this one, obviously, it's a little different, right? So again, that could be part of the reason why this whole cycle was a bit different. Why only certain cryptos are up. So I'm only saying that to say that like this is like a bit of a different experience for me in terms of bull runs that I've seen. And so in terms of like what the prices could be, it could be better. It could be better, but it could be for a shorter time frame. Or on the other hand, it could be better and for a longer time frame because, we've gone past the usual period of when the bull run ends. So, maybe the alt season rally will last longer. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But, when the last bull run was going on, like everything was up. It wasn't just like XRP and Cardano and just set cryptos. Like all cryptos was generally like reasonably high and it lasted for a long period of time. Like I'd say it lasted for about 6 months. This doesn't really happen with this one. It's like you've got set cryptos that have gone really high, but there's some cryptos that are still waiting to like really move. People have been saying about Ethereum, people have been really, bugged out about Ethereum. Now don't get me wrong, I do think Ethereum will really start moving properly soon. Like it has had a few signs of life as of recent, and I do think it will have a run, but again, it's not been the common way of how it normally works. So, we wait and see how things go. But I do look at everything and what the chart analysts are saying, and they are literally at the point now where they're saying, look, like this stuff is pretty much done now. The ranging is pretty much over. So sometime soon, things are really going to kick off. And I look at how long XRP has been suppressed. And don't get me wrong, we've had that little pump where we went up to like $3. So it has had a bit of a run. But if you ask me, if you think that's all that XRP has to offer this cycle, like I can't buy that. I'd be so disappointed if that was the end for XRP. Like for all this time that we waited for it to just to basically just gently surpass its all-time high and that's it. I'd be so disappointed. But I really don't believe that's the case. I really don't. So I just want to ask you guys, what are you guys thinking when you look at this cycle at the moment? $11.50 here up to $42. What do you think? What do you think he's going to get to? What would you be happy with? Because, there'll be a point where the market is moving and this is where we really have got to start to take action. And you got to start thinking like, what would you be happy with? Like, what would you be ideally looking at? And like realistic answers, because obviously I know we can all say we want to, sell at like $100 and stuff like that. But like, let's try and keep it like realistic on what we're hoping for. So Let me know your thoughts, guys. But you know, $42, while I will say for me it's a little bit on the high end, I'm not going to rule it out. I think it is a possibility. I just think that's quite a high, it's quite a high feat to reach. So for me, I'm not really having that much of an expectation for that. But you know, like even if it hit like $20, you know, that'd be incredible. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, like you're still looking at great numbers here. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely excited to see how this unfolds. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.